That's a motorcycle tire now.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Oh, Lord. All right, do your thing.
All right, so this week we've got a couple common handheld tools that will help you when you are doing personal maintenance on your vehicles. But it's always good to do weekly maintenance on your vehicle because only you are going to know if something is going wrong with your vehicle that you're driving on a daily basis. And the way you keep a check on that is to do weekly maintenance on it. That means checking the tire pressure, that means checking the oil, that means checking the fluid in the washer bottle, you know, for windshield wipers and all that. But we'll get to that a little bit later on, I promise. This is just the beginning and intro. We're dipping your little toe into some common sense how to use tire gauges today. So for those of you that don't know, this is a truck tire gauge. Commonly they come in different sizes for different types of vehicles. You even have one that's a digital version of this. The digital version is usually easier for those who don't know how to read a tire gauge properly. But today, yes today, after watching this, you should know how to properly read a tire gauge. So what I have in front of me is a motorcycle tire. Yeah, us here at Common Sense Garage are motorcycle guys as well as cars. Sitting here next to me, Mr. Peacock is a truck driver. Oh.
Truck mechanic.
Truck mechanic. Truck driver, truck mechanic, bus driver, jack of all trades. You name it, he knows it. That's why I hang around him most of the time. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't know half of the stuff I do now. Don't let him sit there. I know he's probably shaking his head right now, but it's okay because he's just a little shy. We'll get him over that, I promise, because you'll probably be seeing a lot more of him if I have my way about it. All right, let's talk a little bit about this motorcycle tire. Now, of course, on your vehicle, you will have one that's a little bit wider, that's made specifically for cars or trucks. But they all generally have the same components with them. You have the rim, which is the metal surface that attaches to the car itself. You have the rubber tread. Some of you watching this right now may have a bald tire. You may not see these tread patterns in here. That's okay. That's one of the things you got to keep a check on because you need to have good tread on your tires to keep you from sliding and swerving when it rains outside, or even sliding and swerving when you hit the brakes. I know most of you go 0 to 60 and who knows how fast and don't want to hit the brakes, but sometimes we have to. If a cop shows up, you need to be able to hit the brakes, okay? And you don't want to slide because he'll stop you, he'll pull you over. Trust us, we know. So you have the tread, you have the rim, and where you insert the air into the tire, where you add or take out air from the tire is called the valve stem. It looks like a little antenna hanging off of your tire. No, the government didn't put this antenna on your tire, contrary to what YouTube and Facebook tells you. But this is where you add air or check the pressure that you have in the tire. So I'm going to attempt to show you with the truck air chuck. So as you can see, but on the tire chuck, this one is a dual valve, a dual chuck, so you can check it either forward or reverse, whichever you're more comfortable with, especially if you have a dually tire, 2 tires in one. You have to stick through and pull back onto the chuck in order to check the back tire. But on this one, we're going to be using the forward position for the chuck. So what you want to do is place the chuck over the valve stem and you push on with a firm, consistent pressure. And you pull off and there's a gauge that pops out of the back of it. Looks like a little rat tail. And on this, there are tick marks every so often for the amount of pressure that's in the tire. The more pressure that's in the tire, more air pressure that's in the tire, the further this tail will come down. And on here, the values range from 10 to 160 pounds of pressure. Now, I'm not going into the scientific methods of how to figure out air pressure and all of that nonsense. I'll leave that for the scientist on another channel to do. But here, all you're concerned about is the tire pressure that the manufacturer recommends for your tire. And where you find that at is on the sidewall of the tire. You will find a max pressure, which the manufacturer recommends you do not exceed, because if you do, you will have one of those crazy blowout moments where the tire might explode on you. But you also should have a standard pressure on it. Most of the time for car and truck tires, it depends on manufacturer, but the average car and truck tire ranges anywhere from 35 to 45 pounds of pressure. Now, truck tires usually run a little bit higher than that because you have a greater load that you normally carry in the back end of a truck. On a motorcycle, it's anywhere from
35 to 40 pounds.
35 to 40 pounds, because there again you have a load on 2 tires on a motorcycle versus 4 tires on a pickup truck or a car. So it's very important to make sure that your tires are always properly inflated, because if they are slack, then on a motorcycle you will have a heck of a time trying to steer the motorcycle. On a car or truck, it may cause you to veer off one side or the other when you're trying to go straight down a road. And also, if your tires are underinflated, you lose gas mileage. For those of you that are driving the Prius or the little smart car, it's probably not as important, but for the average consumer who drives a vehicle in 2020, proper inflation for your tires will help you to get great gas mileage
And longer life out of it.
and longer life out of the tires. See, I told you he was smart. Like I said, it's very important to keep proper inflation in the tire, proper air pressure in the tire. Now, the digital gauge, I told you I'd show it to you. I don't know if this one works. It was just handed to me. Batteries are dead. Always keep fresh batteries if you keep it in your vehicle, because you do not want to be going down the road and realize you need to check tire pressure at a gas station or anything like that, and the battery be dead in the tire checker. That's why Peacock and I always recommend the analog version of a tire gauge. It doesn't require batteries. It merely requires the knucklehead that's using it. So another part of this tire that attaches to the valve stem is a valve cap. This little piece of metal or a little piece of plastic will save you loads of time and trouble as long as it's installed properly. They come pre-installed on the tire, so in order to check your air pressure in your tire or to add more air to it, you would simply take and turn the valve cap to the left. Counterclockwise is the proper way to undo the valve cap. Make sure that whenever you're checking tire pressure that you remove the valve cap, put it in your pocket, put it somewhere where you will remember to grab it, that it's not easily lost, and make sure that this is the last thing that you check before you drive off. Make sure that it is reinstalled onto the valve stem, because it keeps all kind of dust, dirt, trash out of the valve stem, where it might cause you to lose air pressure if the valve stem gets corroded or dirty itself or stuck. It's just a good habit to have when you're checking tire pressure. Hope this helps you out. I think that's it. What do you think, Peacock?
That's it.
All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do this in this type of manner. We're not trying to figure out if you're stupid or not.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is show you basic, simple things
Right.
that you can do on yourself. If you were like me growing up, your family didn't have a lot of money.
That's right.
You couldn't afford to pay somebody to do certain things, so you learned to do them. You hung around people, you talked to people, you watched people, and you picked up on things as you grew up. Basic tire maintenance. Everybody needs to know basic tire maintenance.
That's right.
Basic tire maintenance is you need to know what your tread depth is, what the manufacturer tells you to go to. You need to look at tire pressure every 5,000 miles. You need to have your tires rotated.
That's right.
You do it or have somebody else do it. You need to check your oil depends if your car uses oil or not. If you think your car is using oil or you see oil on the ground, you need to check your oil every 2 days.
Yep.
If you see a great big puddle of oil on the ground, you need to find somebody to come find out where that oil's coming from. Just because the guy says, hey, look at me, I can do that for you. I charge you $50, don't mean he can do it.
That's right.
He's liable to tear up more than he can help you. You know, I mean, that's common sense.
I like it. I like it.